When federal researchers pulled real car seats out of real cars and inspected them, roughly 6 in 10 had at least one critical error, and 96% of those parents were confident they'd done it right. That gap is what this video is about. 5 installation mistakes, ranked from common to catastrophic, and the one at number 1 is the single most frequent error the government finds, which means there's a real chance it's in your car right now. A certified technician told me the same thing almost every time. Parents walk up, smiling, sure their seat is perfect, and within 5 minutes, she finds something wrong. A clip too low, a strap too loose, a seat that rocks half an inch more than it should. Not because they're careless, because nothing about a good enough install feels different from a dangerous one. That's exactly the gap we're closing today. Here's why the margin matters. In 2023, one âgé à moitié American children 14 and younger were killed in traffic crashes, an average of 3 children every single day. A correctly used car seat is extraordinarily good at preventing that. NHTSA estimates car seats cut the risk of fatal injury by 71% for infants and 54% for toddlers in passenger cars. But every number you're about to see assumes the seat is used correctly. Get one of these 5 things wrong, and you quietly give that protection back. Everything in this video comes from public records, NHTSA field studies, the National Child Passenger Safety Board, and Safe Kids Worldwide. Sources are linked in the description. Let's start at number 5. Number 5 is the smallest piece of plastic in the whole seat, and one of the most misplaced: the chest clip. The rule from child passenger safety technicians is simple. The chest clip belongs at armpit level, centered on the chest, not down on the stomach, not up on the throat. Field observations of rear-facing seats repeatedly find the chest clip sitting too low, well below where it should be. Why it matters: that clip's only job is to hold the 2 shoulder straps in position before a crash. So the harness catches the strong part of the body, the chest and shoulders, instead of the soft abdomen. Slide it down onto the belly, and in a hard stop, the forces load onto organs that were never meant to take them. The fix takes 3 seconds. Buckle your child, then slide the clip up until it's level with the armpits. That's it. Which brings us to a mistake that hides in plain sight, because most parents think they've already handled it. Number 4, a harness that's too loose. And this one is sneaky, because nearly every parent buckles the harness, they just don't tighten it enough. The National Child Passenger Safety Board standard is the pinch test. After tightening, you should not be able to pinch any slack webbing at the shoulder. If the strap bunches between your fingers, it's too loose. Inspectors consistently find the same cluster of problems on real seats: harness too loose, twisted, or threaded through the wrong slot. A twisted strap is a narrower strap which concentrates force. A loose strap lets the child move forward before the seat even starts doing its job. There's a hidden culprit here, too, and it's seasonal. Bulky winter coats, puffy jackets, and thick blankets belong over the buckled harness, not underneath it. That fluffy coat compresses instantly in a crash, and suddenly the harness you thought was snug has inches of slack. Here's how fast that trick fools you. Buckle your child wearing the coat, tighten the harness until it feels snug. By every normal measure, done. Now unzip and slide the coat off without touching the straps. Watch how much slack suddenly appears at the shoulders. On a thick jacket, it can be 2 or 3 finger widths, more than enough for a child to shift forward before the harness engages. That's the gap a crash exploits in milliseconds. The fix stays the same either way. Buckle first with just a thin layer, run the pinch test, then lay the coat over the top like a blanket once the straps are locked in. Tighten the straps flat, run the pinch test, coat on top. Next. Number 3 is the safety feature almost nobody uses, and most people don't even know exists: the top tether. On a forward-facing seat, there's a strap at the top that hooks to an anchor point in your vehicle. According to Safe Kids Worldwide, 64% of parents were not using the tether on their forward-facing seats. The organization calls it essential for safety, but consistently overlooked. Here's what it does. The tether keeps a forward-facing seat from tipping forward in a crash, which sharply reduces how far a child's head is thrown. Skip it, and the head travels several extra inches. Often the difference between a scare and a serious injury. One caution the manuals repeat. The top tether is for forward-facing mode. It is generally not used rear-facing unless your specific seat says so. Check your manual, find the anchor, click the tether. Free protection you already paid for. Quick gut check before we go on. Remember that opening number. The government's own field study put car seat misuse at 59% and 61% for forward-facing seats, while 96% of parents felt confident. That's the whole problem in two numbers, and the number one mistake coming up is the one that error rate is built on. But first, number two, the one that matters most for the smallest passengers. Number two is invisible until you know to look for it, the recline angle. And it's most dangerous for the youngest babies. NHTSA lists incorrect recline as one of its top observed misuses, a seat installed too upright for a child under a year old. The reason is airway. Newborns and young infants don't yet have the head and neck control to hold their airway open, so a rear-facing seat has to sit at a specific reclined angle, roughly 45 degrees on many seats, to keep the chin off the chest and the airway clear. Too upright, and a sleeping newborn's head can slump forward. Two traps here. First, people check the angle on a driveway that isn't level. Always set the recline with the car parked on flat ground. Second, the DIY fix that backfires. Don't wedge rolled towels or pool noodles under the seat unless your manufacturer specifically allows it. Most seats have a built-in angle indicator, a bubble or a line. Get it into the approved zone on level ground and recheck as your baby grows. Which finally brings us to number one, the mistake that single-handedly drives that 60% figure. Number one, if you fix nothing else in this video, fix this. A car seat that moves too much. The test is the one every technician uses. Grab the seat at the belt path, where the belt or lower anchors pass through, and push front to back and side to side. If it moves more than 1 inch in any direction, it's too loose. That's the line. And this is the error the data keeps flagging as the most common of them all. NHTSA names loose installation, along with incorrect recline and lap belt position, as the most frequently observed misuses in its national study. In practice, loose installation shows up in roughly half to two-thirds of seats caregivers install. Part of why this one mistake dominates the data is the equipment itself. Older seats and some budget models need real muscle to lock the base down. You're supposed to lean your full body weight into the seat while cinching the belt or the lower anchors, not just pull the strap with your hand. Newer seats with rigid latch connectors click into place easily, which feels secure but can still leave slack if the base wasn't pushed down first. Either way, it looks installed and it passes the 1-inch test are two very different standards, and only one of them actually protects your child. Why it's the deadliest. A loose seat lets the whole system travel before it engages, so your child rides that extra distance forward in a crash instead of being held in place. It turns a restraint into something closer to a passenger. One more trap that quietly loosens things. Mixing systems. Use either the lower anchors or the seat belt to install the seat, not both at once, unless your specific seat explicitly allows it. And lower anchors have a weight limit. Past it, you're supposed to switch to the seat belt. Install with one method, push your weight into the seat as you tighten, then do the 1-inch test at the belt path. Here's the reassuring part. Every one of these 5 is checkable in about 5 minutes in your driveway, and none of them requires buying anything. Chest clip at the armpits, harness passes the pinch test coat over the straps, top tether hooked on forward-facing seats, recline angle in the green zone on level ground, and the seat itself moving less than an inch at the belt path. If you want a second set of eyes, this is what free child passenger safety technicians are for. NHTSA keeps a directory of certified technicians who inspect seats for free, and they routinely find at least one thing to correct even on seats parents were sure were perfect. 2 housekeeping notes. Check CPSC, GovRest recalls, and register your seat, so you're told directly if your exact model is recalled. And this is consumer information, not medical or legal advice. For anything specific to your child's size, health, or a seat that's been in a crash, talk to your pediatrician and follow your seat's manual. So if you remember 3 things, remember these. The seat shouldn't move more than an inch. The harness shouldn't pinch. And the fact that you feel confident is exactly what the data says to double-check. Nearly all parents feel sure, and roughly 6 in 10 car seats still have an error. Go back to that number from the start. 19 children. Every one of those was somebody's daily drive to daycare, somebody's 5-minute trip to the grocery store, the kind of ordinary ride nobody thinks twice about. The 5 checks in this video won't take longer than that drive. That's the whole trade. Do the 5-minute check tonight before your next drive. Then tell me in the comments which of the 5 you'd been getting wrong. I'd bet it's number 3 or number 1. Subscribe if you want the check done for you. We track every new car seat recall and safety notice so you don't have to go looking. Next time, we're pulling the specific seats that got recalled after they were already in millions of homes, and how long the warnings sat unread. Because the most dangerous seat isn't the cheapest one on the shelf. It's the one that feels perfectly safe and isn't.